Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer. And it looks like the American owners have found themselves an American manager. Of course, I am on about Leeds United, and it looks like Jesse Marsch will be the next Leeds United manager. Guys, what I'm going to speak about today is his career so far, as well as talking about what he will offer Leeds United and what he will bring to the Premier League. And of course, if you do enjoy the video, please remember to hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well if you are new here. Well, let's jump into it. Let's talk a bit about Leeds United's new manager. And he spent the majority of his career so far under the Red Bull umbrella, so to speak. Firstly, starting off his career in America with the New York Red Bulls. He then went on to spend some time under this man, who I'm sure Leeds United probably won't hold in such high regard at the moment, Ralf Rangnick. He, of course, was the assistant manager under Ralf Rangnick at his time at Leipzig. He then moved on to managing at Salzburg before then going back to Leipzig. And so far, he's had a bit of a mixed journey, really. He was really good under Salzburg, managing 2.18 points per game. Also picking up 4 trophies in his time there, managing 2 league titles and 2 cups. He had had an absolutely amazing time there. And due to that, he then got almost promoted really through the Red Bull ranks into the RB Leipzig job in this summer. Unfortunately, he only actually managed to last just over 6 months. It was 6 months and about 3 days he managed to last with RB Leipzig, and in that time only managing 1.25 points per game. Now, interestingly, throughout his managerial career, he is yet to obviously be involved in what you'd call a relegation scrap, which unfortunately Leeds United hold themselves in. But you do feel if he can get past that, this season, so to speak, he would then be a really good manager for the future, a very progressive manager. And I'm sure the fact that the owners are American has also been maybe a persuasive factor. Well, of course, what will he bring to Leeds United and what are his style of plays? Well, to be honest, there's some things that are kind of matched with Bielsa. He enjoys the pressing football and he requires the same dedication that Bielsa did. There's going to be a high work rate, like just like Bielsa. He's going to demand the most of his players. He's also going to demand pressing football. He's going to demand attacking football. And there's some similarities that you can see some similarities between the two, which is kind of good. I think especially at this stage of the season, you don't want to bring in a manager that's going to come in and completely transform absolutely everything, because it probably just wouldn't marry up and wouldn't click soon enough, especially when you're in a relegation battle. But there are some key differences with obviously comparing him to Bielsa too. Firstly, in the way that he will defend. We know Bielsa liked the man versus man marking. With Marsch, he's more of a zonal marking. He focuses more on zonal play. And when we look at his attacking football, he likes to press as a way of not just retaining and regaining the ball. He sees it as a way of actually scoring goals. He will use that press to not just get the ball back, but also create chances for the team. Now, this is something which is still kind of untested. He did, as I say, he did really well in the Austrian league. You could argue that it didn't work with Leipzig, and you could argue that maybe it didn't work so well with them. But, maybe it's just because the quality of the players in that league stepped up massively, and his style of play, the high pressing, the intensity that he brings, could leave gaps at times, maybe it just didn't work. So it is a bit of a risk to throw him into the Premier League. But one thing I would say when comparing him to Bielsa's football, for example, is he does like to play a 4-2-2-2 formation, and he likes to play that as quite a narrow style of play. It's a narrow, especially when defending, it's a very narrow format, which you remember with Bielsa's time, especially towards the end of his time, there would usually be massive gaps that would open up in defense and allow players to run into. I think the way that he defends and manages his defense, you won't see that with Marsch, and it will probably, and I think it will actually improve Leeds United's defensive play. Another thing that you can also point out when comparing him to the way that Bielsa would play is, of course, with that 4-2-2-2 formation. It is, of course, a very different formation, and questions around that, especially with Bamford not being available. If he looked to adapt that formation into playing at the moment, you'd question who would actually fit into that formation at the moment. Of course, at the moment, Bielsa has been stuck with having to play Dan James as a striker. If he was playing that formation, would it require someone like James and Rafinha to marry up together up top, especially with Bamford out? There's definitely some questions over if you'd be able to use that formation with this current Leeds team, but it has been something that he has used the majority of his managerial career so far. I mean, in essence, he's still a very unproven manager. He's had a bit of a mixed bag, but there is a lot of exciting things about this guy. And I think as long as he, can keep Leeds up this season, I think it'll be really exciting to see what he can do then the following season in terms of implementing what he wants with Leeds United. And I'd say probably expect a few strikers to come in the next transfer window. Guys, let me know your thoughts. If you're a Leeds United fan, are you excited about this managerial appointment? Do you think it's the right one? And yeah, as I said at the start of the video, if you made it this far, please do remember to hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And hopefully I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye.